Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the final press conference for one of the biggest events in boxing this year. Now, all fighters dream of being an undefeated world champion. But the greatest goal, of course, is becoming that title that's so rare these days, becoming the undisputed champion of the world. 2 days from now, in front of 50,000 fans in Marvel Stadium, here in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, it'll be a collision of those dreams, as we will have two fighters, an undefeated world champion versus an undefeated world champion for the undisputed lightweight championship of the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the stars of the show at this time. Please welcome, from the United States of America, the undefeated WBA lightweight champion of the world, Devin "The Dream" Haney. By me, he is the WBC, the reigning WBC lightweight champion of the world, Devin "The Dream" Haney. Kambosos Jr. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you something. I've been doing this for 40 years, and there's just something so special in this era of the four belts when we have a battle for the undisputed world championship. It's just going to be a great, great event with 50,000 fans. We're all looking forward to it, and I know from my part, I can't wait to get out of the ring after I introduce them and watch this fight. I'm still a fan, and I'm loving every minute of this. So let me turn it over at this time to the legendary, the legendary commentator from Fox Sports Australia, Mr. Warren Smith.
It's an absolute privilege to have Michael Buffer in the house once again. Would you please put your hands together for Michael, legend of world boxing, and it's great to have him back in the country for such an occasion, and I can't wait to see what happens, of course, on Sunday. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us for our final press conference for the undisputed World Lightweight Championship between the Ring Magazine, the WBO, IBF, WBA and WBC franchise champion, as Michael Buffer just said, Australia's own George Ferocious Kambosos Jr. and the WBC champion, of course, Devin "The Dream" Haney. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we do meet today and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. I extend in that respect to the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples who are joining us here today. Well, We are just 48 hours away from, it's been described as this Super Bowl, I guess, here in the city that does grand finals like no other city on the planet. This is the grand final of the hottest division in world boxing. There is more on the line this Sunday than in any other fight in Australian history, and it's right here in our sporting capital, Melbourne, of course, brought to you by DeBella Entertainment. Right now, would you please welcome the Minister for Tourism, Sport and Major Events, the Honourable Martin Pakula.
Thanks, Warren. Well, this is very exciting. As a 16-year-old in 1985, I was lucky enough to be at Michael Ellis at Festival Hall. And a few years later, Fennec Nelson 2 at Princes Park, and Costa Zoo fought on the undercard that day, won in about 93 seconds. And then a decade later, fought Leha at, I think, at Marvel, as it is now. The point is that this fight, Kambosos Haney, fits very neatly into that great tradition of world title fights that we have had here in Melbourne. And as Michael and Warren said, a unification bout for the world lightweight title, 50,000 people at Marvel Stadium. It could scarcely get more exciting. I just wanted to say best of luck to Devin and to George. A good fight, an exciting fight. I can't wait to see it. Best of luck to everyone on the undercard as well, to Lou, to Bob, to TEG, to everyone who's put their faith in Melbourne to bring this fight here. We won't let you down as a sporting community. We love our big events here. This will be no exception, and bring it on. Very, very excited for Sunday. And at the end of it, there will be a great unified world lightweight champion. So thanks very much for being here.
Thank you, Martin, and thank you, of course, to the Victorian Government through Visit Victoria for what they've done in providing everything we'll see this weekend at Marvel Stadium. We would also, at this stage, like to thank our major sponsors, Culture Kings, where we had the press conference on Monday. Boy, that really got the ball rolling this week, didn't it? Tab, the official betting partner, and Crypto Spend, the official cryptocurrency partner as well. Thank you to all our major sponsors. Now, this is a huge week for many people here today, including the president of DeBella Entertainment, Lou DeBella, who next week will be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Lou, congratulations on receiving that honour. That is tremendous news indeed. And thank you for joining us this morning. This is a hell of a show you've managed to put on here, along with Bob Arum, with a stacked card of local and international talent.
Yeah, it's a tremendous undercard. I want to say a couple of words about the main event first. And I think when you have a main event this good, you better have a good undercard, because people deserve it. George Kambosos holds most of the... Look at this array of glitter in front of you. He's earned this. He beat Teofimo Lopez. He's taken every challenge put in front of him. He's fought in front of, at times, nobody. He's traveled the world and fought on other people's territory time after time to get the opportunity to be the undisputed champion. And now he'll have the opportunity to gather every belt if he can beat Devin Haney. You know, these guys, there's a little bit of hostility, a lot of heat between them. That's to some extent expected. But you have to look at these two guys and you have to admire how they got here and what they're doing here. George fought Teofimo Lopez. There were a lot of people, including myself, who gave him the option, come back, take a victory lap, fight somebody easy. You know, you don't have to fight the huge fight next. He said, no, you have to listen to me. I only want to fight the big fights. And we went out and we made a fight with, when we couldn't originally make a deal with Devin's promoter at the time, we made a deal with Vasyl Lomachenko. A war erupted in the Ukraine. The Ukraine was invaded. Lomachenko did what a patriot would do, and he's back in the Ukraine right now. George gave me one option. Go and give Haney this opportunity, see if he really wants it. And this kid right over here to my left is a warrior and a guy that wants those belts and is willing to take a challenge and was willing to get on an airplane and go halfway around the world, including going halfway around the world without his dad, manager, you know, lead trainer, who's been with him his whole career, because he understands the importance of this moment and what this opportunity means. This is boxing. And Victoria, Melbourne, you're getting one of the best fights you can possibly get in the world, between two of the best young fighters in the world, between two of the best young champions in the world. And history is going to be made in Melbourne when, for the first time in the modern boxing era, 4 belts, all 4 organizations are unified for a unified lightweight title. So I commend my champion next to me, the most confident fighter I've ever worked with, a man that really does believe in himself to a degree that I've never seen before, and every time he prognosticates something, it comes true. And to my left, a young man that was willing to take the challenge, do something that very few American fighters do, honestly, go abroad for their opportunity. That's not something historically that happens very often in American boxing. But Devin Haney's a great young champion. So I want to commend them both and make people realize, get out there, come to Marvel Stadium on Sunday, because this is a moment in history, and it's something very special. I want to thank Minister Pakula. I want to thank the people of Melbourne and of Victoria. We've been welcomed. I can't believe how we've been welcomed, how nice people have been, how friendly people have been, how desirous of this level event people are. And Minister, I appreciate the fact that you want Melbourne to be one of the sports capitals of the world. And with this event Sunday, it's moving toward being one of the boxing capitals of the world. So I want to thank you. We did put together a terrific undercard. And it's a little unusual. We're going to get on the air early morning. It's going to be breakfast with boxing on Fox Sports. And the fights will begin on Fox Sports at 9:30 a.m. At 11 a.m. the pay-per-view will begin, and there'll be a couple of fights after the pay-per-view. After George's fight, there'll be a few fights of great interest, and I'll take you through those now. The first fight of the night is going to feature Hussein Fayed from Sydney, making his pro debut. He's part of the ferocious Kambosos team. I know everybody, there's not a lot of room here, so people are standing there, but Hussein, if you could sort of stand up and wave. There we go, Hussein. Hussein will be fighting Pam Thanawut Fedcom from Springvale, Victoria. So if you could stand up and just wave, Pam. So. 9:30, first fight on Fox, first fight in the international telecast. Features a young man that I just signed to a promotional contract. He is Cuban-Italian, has dual citizenship. His mom is Cuban, his dad is Italian. He had a record of 130 wins and 2 losses as a Cuban amateur. Went to Italy to spend some time with his dad, fought in 10 international competitions for Italy, won all 10. I saw a tape of him. I thought he was a prodigy. I felt like I had to sign him. And he was really dying to make his pro debut on this card, which you'll be doing, Yoel Anceloni. Yoel's fighting an undefeated young man who's viewing this as a great opportunity of his career so far. Ken Aitken from Queensland, Australia, 3-0. Ken, good to have you on the card. Good luck. Also from Team Ferocious Kambosos, Isaiah Sete will be making his pro debut. Isaiah is from Sydney. Good to have you on the card, Isaiah. He'll be fighting another undefeated fighter, Luke Gersbeck from Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Luke, good luck. You can't do a major boxing show right now and not have a women's fight on the card. It's not acceptable, period. There are too many quality female fighters in the world, and women need to be represented on our shows. And there will be, on the Fox portion of the show, there will be a women's fight between 2 very evenly matched women. I got to see some tape of this first young lady, and I told her this morning she could really fight. Taylor Robertson from Brisbane. And she's fighting undefeated Sarah Higginson from Perth. Anchoring the early part of the day, leading up to the main pay-per-view telecast, we have a guy that's one of George Kambosos' best buddies. I've met him many times before because he's been on the road with George. He's traveled with him, sparred with him, been a companion and a friend. And Terry, I'm happy to see you on this card and getting the opportunity to see you perform. Good to have you on the card. And Terry will be fighting Lachlan Higgins from Mornington, Victoria, Australia. Following the main event, there'll be 2 fights. And interestingly, both have ties to the rest of the card. Amari Jones. Undefeated young fighter out of Vegas, big power puncher, has the whole package, a very, very good prospect. A good friend of Devin Haney's. He's promoted by Devin Haney's promotional company. And good to have you on the card, Amari. How does it feel to, can we get a mic to Amari, possibly? Thank you. How does it feel to come with Devin to Australia and get this opportunity to fight on this kind of card?
It's a dream come true, just thank God, and, we're here to handle business.
And we look forward to seeing you do it.
Thank you.
And Andrew Maloney will be the main event of the post-main card. He'll be the last fight that we will see on Sunday. How does it feel to be on the same card with your brother, and how does it feel to be on a card that's this historic?
Firstly, thank you, Lou, and thank you to Bella Entertainment, Top Rank Boxing, and everyone else involved in making this amazing event here in Melbourne. Thank you also for having me a part of it. Growing up here in Melbourne and being at Marvel Stadium so many times over the years, it really is a dream come true to be fighting there. The crowd's in for a treat for my fight. My opponent, Espinoza, he comes, he brings a lot of pressure, he throws a lot of punches, and I plan on standing there in the middle of the ring, meeting him there and breaking him down. For those coming on Sunday, make sure you don't leave after the main event. Stick around, because my fight's going to be the fireworks at the end of the night, and you don't want to miss it.
Thank you. And next to Andrew, I just had the opportunity to meet this young man, even though I followed his career a little bit. I saw him fight in the Olympics. I think he's a tremendous talent. Also, kid looks like a movie star, which blows my mind. He doesn't look like he's ever been hit. David Nika from New Zealand. David is the swing bout on the pay-per-view part of the card. There's a chance he will also fight after the main event. David's also promoted by my friend David Higgins. I want to acknowledge Duco Promotions. That's one of the co-promoters on this card. They've done a tremendous amount of great work with us. I particularly want to single out Nikki and Carlina, my girls, who I screamed and yelled at 4 o'clock in the morning when I was asleep and getting phone calls, and who handled it with grace and friendship. I love you guys. Thank you for everything you've done. I want to acknowledge Rachel Carroll from TEG. TEG is another one of our co-promoters on the card. Rachel has done incredible work to get this event put together. She's a true pro and a friend, and thank you, Rach. David, how's it feel to be here? And you're going to, New Zealand's going to be heavily represented on this card. You got Junior and Hemi on the card. There'll be 3 New Zealand fighters on the card, and this will also be a pay-per-view back home. So how does it feel to be on this card?
Feels great. Yeah, this is a massive opportunity for me and for us Kiwis. So thank you, Lou, for having me on this card. I'm looking forward to putting on a powerful display and letting the cruiserweights around the world know who David Nika is. And, yeah, obviously just moving up the ranks. So, yeah, thank you again for the opportunity.
Thank you. This is a massive show, massive. My company's not massive in size. So my people had to work around the clock for 6 months to get this event done. So I'd be remiss if I didn't put a shout out to Alex Dombroff, to Meredith Greenberg, Pete Zimbor, Sean Sullivan, Freddie Sternberg, who's been doing my PR on this. I love you guys. You've been amazing. And the young man to my left who travels more miles than I do, has more energy than I do. I think he's out of his fucking mind, excuse my French, but sorry. But I've known this guy since the first day I've been in this business. And there were times he almost killed me and vice versa. I've learned a tremendous amount from him. If boxing promotion was football, he'd be Tom Brady for both his longevity and the quality of the work he's done over 7 decades. He is promoted in 7 decades.
These people never heard of Tom Brady. The guy that throws the passes.
They've heard of Tom Brady. They've heard of Tom Brady. The GOAT, the greatest promoter of all time, Bob Arum. Bob, you want to say a few words about the card?
Yeah, but once I start, I can't limit myself to a few words.
Okay, you have as many. You're 90 years old. You can have as many words as you want.
Okay, good. No, it's a real pleasure to be here. The last time I was here, we were promoting a fight in Queensland, Brisbane, and that was a great experience. I don't know necessarily that the guy who won should have won, but it was a good fight and a good promotion. So I'm looking forward to Sunday. And why Sunday afternoon is because you look at the calendar, and if you do it Sunday afternoon, it's prime time, which means evening, back in the United States. So ESPN will be telecasting the card at the sweet spot where people traditionally turn on their television or their streaming service and watch an event. So it really works out well, and as long as the Aussies don't mind an afternoon fight on Sunday, it's a great marriage of doing the fight here and having it televised back in the States. This should be a terrific match. The two young men are the top of their game. There's a lot of pride that they each have. George beat Teofimo Lopez, a fight that he was frankly not expected to win based on the so-called experts, but he won that fight and won all of these belts. And Devin Haney, one of our bright young fighters in the United States, who is attracted a lot of attention and always gives a great performance. Both guys are undefeated. This is what boxing is all about, and it should be a terrific match. The undercard that has been put together is really a quality one. I'm particularly happy to see the Maloney boys on the card, because during the COVID pandemic, we arranged for them to come to the United States, and they did fights with nobody in the audience because we weren't allowed to sell tickets. They performed extraordinarily well. And then they'd come back to Australia, the poor guys, and you had 2 weeks you had to stay in the government hotel, right?
Three occasions.
Three occasions. George Kambosos went through that after beating Teofimo.
Right, yeah, right. So anyway, it's going to be a really good card, a great event. I think everybody is going to enjoy themselves. I want to talk just a little bit about being undisputed. That sounds great. You have the belts from every organization. But there's a downside to it, because there are 4 organizations. Each one charges the fighters 3%. So now if they're undisputed and there's 4 belts, that's 12%. That's a lot of money to take out of a purse, right? But that's what it is. So there is, like everything else in life, a downside. Wonderful to be undisputed, terrible to pay 12% of your purse to these organizations, right? And I'm really happy to see this young Filipino, even though you're fighting my guy Maloney, but I, whenever I see a Filipino on the dais, brings me back a number of years ago when I was promoting Manny Pacquiao, and who, by the way, really won the election. They stole it from him. But I'm bringing Trump in to argue the case. Anyway, it's going to be a great, great afternoon, a terrific event, and thank you all for having me.
Quickly, I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge a couple more people. I want to acknowledge Devin's team. Bill Haney, who's not here, was helpful every step of the way. Was a man of his word, or we wouldn't have been able to get this deal done as quickly as we did after Lomachenko became unavailable. John Hornauer, his attorney, Devin's attorney, one of the best attorneys in boxing, has been in this game almost as long as I have. I mean, we met almost at the beginning of our careers, and literally is one of the best. George's team, Peter Kahn, his co-manager, Greg Smith, his attorney, a great guy, great lawyer. His dad, Jim Kambosos, who's been with George from minute one, who believed in him, who was his partner in Ferocious Promotions. And Jim, thank you for all your help on the event. And the only person who believed in George Kambosos as much as George Kambosos is his dad. I mean, Peter and myself knew we had a fighter. We didn't know we had this level of champion. I don't think anyone in the world did except George and Jimmy. So thank you, guys. And back to you, Warren.
Thank you, Lou. It's great to have both of you here, of course. And Bob, thanks for those words. Nobody is Googling, trust me, nobody is Googling Tom Brady on their phones right now. Maybe we get Tom to chip in the 12% that the fighters will have to supply to each of the sanctioning bodies. Of course, you might have it down the back of the lounge, Tom. No doubt about that. It's time now to meet the rest of our undercard here this morning, of course, and we'll begin with a couple of heavyweights, and we have a couple of terrific heavyweight bouts coming up on Sunday at Marvel Stadium. We'll begin with Hemi Ahio versus Christian Zoy. And firstly, Hemi, thank you for being here this morning. You're undefeated, 18 fights, 13 knockouts. On Sunday, this is the biggest stage, unquestionably, of your career. What can we expect from those heavy hands of yours?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, Melbourne. Thank you guys for being over here. I know it's a bit cold. Now, come Sunday, it's going to be a good fight. I know Christian knows what he's doing. I know he's going to be tough, but I'm in there to get him out. So come Sunday, we're just going to enjoy it in there. You guys will enjoy it more, I'm sure.
It will be something to see, no doubt about that. Christian, your last fight, of course, you took on Justin Hooney over 10 rounds, Australia's heavyweight sensation at the moment. You took this fight at short notice. How desperate are you to make a statement here on Sunday at Marvel Stadium?
My English is not... Sorry, my English is not very good. I'm coming to show my skill, to show what I can do. I took this fight on short notice, but I'm ready to give a war. It's a good fighter, but in the heavy division, one punch can change the fight.
Looking forward to that one, Hemi Ahio versus Christian Zoy. The first of the heavyweight bouts on Sunday. That is to be looked forward to, of course. Now, former world champion Lucas Brown is taking on New Zealand's Junior Fa. Junior, I'll begin with you. This is a tremendous clash, of course. You said this is the biggest fight of your career, even bigger than the fight, the world title shot you had against Joseph Parker. Why do you see this as such a pivotal moment in your career?
I mean, your next fight is always your biggest fight, you know. So, you know, this is basically where I'm at, and it's such a huge stage. I mean, I'm sitting here, we got belts all over the place. It's like, you know, really, really cool. But I noticed that I'm pretty sure that our fight is for a belt too, and I noticed that Lucas didn't bring our belt. So hopefully he doesn't forget it on Sunday, because I've made room for it on my baggage for the way back home.
Keeping the belt to Sunday, Lucas?
I've been told it's for 2 belts. The one that I have, which is the WBA Oceania, and an IBF International, I believe. So I didn't bring it today because I didn't realise I was supposed to. But yeah, it looks much better in my room, that's for sure.
Why are you taking this fight? Because nobody steps into the ring with Junior Fa purely for cash, do they?
For me, I'm 43 years old. I've got, say, 3-4 more fights to go. I want to solidify my career as what it has been, and I want to take good fights. I don't want to take a fight where I'm just there to roll someone over. Junior Farr and both him and Joseph Parker have been on the radar for many years. Obviously, it's a good little rivalry between Australia and New Zealand. So for me, it was just, it makes common sense that I fight Junior now. He's 19-1. So for me, it's a great fight. It's good for Oceania, and there's belts on the line, so it makes a lot of sense.
Lucas Big Daddy Brown versus Junior Farr. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. Thank you for being with us this morning, both Junior and Lucas. Can't wait for that one. Now to our co-main event. There are 2 belts on the line in this international bantamweight bout as Australia's former world title challenger Jason Maloney faces world number 6 from the Philippines, Aston Palicte. Aston, first off to you. You arrived in Australia earlier this week. You said you've wanted this fight for a long time. Why did you target Jason for this fight?
First of all, I would like to thank God and Top Rank Promotion, for Arum, for inviting this big event. And I'm so happy and excited because I'm part of this game and to be part of Kambosos Haney. And Kambosos is my running mate when Manny Pacquiao was always fight in Las Vegas. And thanks also to Team Maloney for choosing me, his opponent, and I'm trying hard for this fight. And Maloney's a good fighter, and I'm a good fighter too. This is a good fight.
No question about that. Your opponent, Jason, you're ranked by all 4 governing bodies. Is this a stepping stone to get back to a world title shot?
Yeah, this is a massive opportunity for me, and this is a win over Palicte will give me earn myself another opportunity to fighting for a world title, and I'm just so excited and so grateful to be a part of this show. Thank you to Bob Arum, Top Rank, and Lou DiBella for this massive opportunity. Being a part of this event has been tremendous and just given me more hunger and more determination to collect these belts and one day headline shows it myself at Marvel Stadium. And to do that and achieve my dreams and become Australia's next world champion, this is a must-win fight for me. I've worked extremely hard and I'm ready to get the job done.
It's not a world title eliminator, but it certainly has the feel of that. Good luck against Aston Palicte on Sunday. Thank you for being here both this morning.
Thank you.
Jason Maloney and Aston Palicte. Of course, that takes us to our main event at Marvel Stadium this Sunday, June 5. The WBO, IBF, WBA champion and WBC franchise champion, as well as the Ring Magazine champion, George Kambosos Jr., taking on the WBC champion in Devin the Dream Haney, in a city that does grand finals better than any other city on the planet. This is certainly the grand final of the lightweight division. And Devin, if I can start with you, 48 hours from the biggest fight of your life, has the significance of this event dawned on you yet?
First off, I want to, thank God, thank Allah, my team, Top Rank, Lou DiBella, Bob Arum, ESPN, all the media that came out today. Yeah, this is the biggest stage, but this is something that I dreamed of. I knew that one day I would be here. I didn't think that it would come this early, but I'm thankful, and it's time.
George has called you a rat, a snitch, an informant. Have the mind games affected your preparation?
No, I knew that, coming in, I knew that he was going to try anything that he can to throw me off my game and, get me unfocused. But no matter what, he can say what he want to say. I'm going to do what I'm going to do regardless when we step into that ring, and I will come out victorious by any means.
You have sacrificed a lot to be here. It's well known. Your father, of course, is back watching this from Las Vegas as we speak. How satisfying will that make it then if you do become the undisputed lightweight champion of the world?
I mean, very satisfying. I did it against all odds when it was, I wouldn't say stacked against me, but when it wasn't working in my favor. They were trying to do anything that they can to put me at a disadvantage, but when I come out on top, it's going to be that much sweeter. And I look forward to, bringing the belts back and showing my dad what we accomplished together.
Despite the hurdles, you are the favourite with the betting agencies for this particular bout. Do you see yourself as the favourite?
I mean, of course, I feel like I'm the far better fighter. I have far more skills than him, and I mean, I will show it on Sunday. It's for me to show in the ring. You know, the betting odds really don't matter because I will show you. No matter what they say, what the people say, anybody can say anything, but I'm levels above him.
Thank you for being here this week. It's great to see you. Good luck on Sunday. We'll take more questions for Devin in just a moment from the media. But right now, to his opponent, George Kambosos Jr. George, the sacrifices Devin talks of, you know of so well. It has been a very long journey to get to this point here this Sunday at Marvel Stadium.
Just want to thank everybody for being here, all the media, obviously my promoter Lou DiBella, Bob Arum, for making this possible, the Melbourne government, all the sanctioning bodies here as well. And it has been a long, hard journey. Everyone knows that. But I'm ready for Sunday. All the moments have got me ready for Sunday again, and I will shock the world again. Underdog, beautiful. We are ready.
How battle-hardened are you, given the preparation, the way you've plotted this path to get to this point?
I've been through it all, so whatever comes to the table on Sunday, we are ready. We are fully prepared, and we are a warrior. Whatever way we have to go, we are prepared.
You have dialed up the mental welfare. If you were playing in the Australian cricket team, you'd be in the slip cordon, chirping the batsman, as we say, in this part of the world. Has it had an effect on Devin Haney?
I'm just having fun. I'm enjoying the moment, just talking the truth, and if it hasn't, so be it. We step in there on Sunday, and that's where it matters.
When you walked into Marvel Stadium on Monday, you said, I manifest these things, I visualise them, and they happen. What have you visualised happening on Sunday?
Victory by any means. I have manifested everything, every part of this journey. They said it would never be here, but only 2 people really believed it, me and my father. So I've manifested my victory, and like I said, victory by any means on Sunday, whatever way it's got to go.
I mentioned Devin is the favourite for this fight with the betting agencies. You are the underdog. I guess that sits pretty comfortably with you.
I love the underdog status. It's okay. They've been against me my whole career. They've been saying it the whole career, so I'm still the top dog. And after Sunday, I will remain the top dog.
Again, we'll have more questions from the media in just a moment. But Lou, come back to you for a moment. This has been a fascinating week, and what a build-up it has been between these two fighters.
Yeah, it's been an incredible ride, actually, and making this fight even. You know, from the George's victory against Teofimo to making another deal and then having to start from scratch on a very strict time deadline because, you know, an AFL game was actually moved to open Marvel Stadium for this event. And we had to move very quickly to get a fight deal done under very difficult circumstances. But, you know, these 2 young men wanted to fight each other. You know, they wanted this smoke. You know, there's that expression in boxing, you want the smoke or not, and a lot of fighters don't. A lot of fighters ride through and you know, take those easy paydays, just want to get wins. These guys want to be great. And these guys are fighting for legacy, not only for money. I like to see that as someone that's been in this game this long. You know, Bob and I have been in this game sort of forever, our whole lives. And to watch 2 young men, you know, grab for that gold ring, it's good to see. And this was a lot of work, but it's also going to be a great day on Sunday at Marvel Stadium, and something I think everyone who goes or buys the pay-per-view is going to remember.
No doubt history is on the line, as you mentioned, of course, with 2 undefeated fighters taking to the ring on Sunday for the undisputed world title. We have many members, I said, as the media here this morning. We'll throw it open to the floor. Where are we going to begin? Yes.
Question for Bob. Australian Boxing Central here. First of all, thank you. Microphone. Hi, Bob. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. It's an honour to have you here in Melbourne. We really appreciate it. Just wanted to know, in your opinion, where you think this fight lands both fighters in the pound-for-pound rankings.
Well, I'd be able to answer that question a lot better on late Sunday afternoon after the fight takes place. But I expect a really good fight, and that's obviously, if this fight is to be remembered as the big fight that we all hope that it is, that will depend on the fighters and depend on what happens on Sunday. I'm optimistic that this will be a tremendous battle. I know that our broadcaster, ESPN, in the United States, is publicizing this fight tremendously, because the fight will be shown both on the linear channel on ESPN, also the streaming service ESPN Plus, and also the Spanish language ESPN. So everybody back in the States is looking forward to this match, and we expect a tremendous audience. When Manny Pacquiao fought here a number of years ago in Brisbane, we did, I think, 4.5 to 5 million homes, which was a tremendous audience, and I hope we do at least that on this telecast.
One interesting fact just to add is that for both George and Devin, on Sunday, this will be the biggest worldwide audience they will ever have fought in front of. The majority of around the world, most of the major linear stations like Sky TV in the UK will be televising it. It's going to be all over the world, pay-per-view in Australia and New Zealand, but over the air in most of the world. So more people will watch this fight of Devin's and of George's than have watched any of their fights before. You know, streaming services make good fights, but there's a limited audience when you're streaming on a subscription service compared to fighting on linear television.
On this side of the room.
Yes, this is Mohammed Mubarak. I'm with the Electronic Urban Report, EURweb.com. My question is for both fighters. First, Devin, I want to bring up a boxing history piece. In December of 1908, African-American by the name of Jack Johnson came over here and fought for the world title against all odds. And he left with the title, came back to America victorious, and they had a parade and everything. What would this fight mean to you, to repeat history in boxing?
Like I said,
did he fight an Australian?
Sydney, Australia. Russ Curtis Bay.
Yeah, it happened before, and it'll happen again. History repeats itself, and I'll show you on Sunday. This will be huge. This will be everything, and you know, we might have a parade back in the States after.
And George, to be fighting on this big stage, all the belts on the line, you got the whole country behind you. Tell us how it makes you feel to be on this stage.
It's very motivating, very inspiring to have my country's behind me. I haven't had that for a long time, so I'm very embraced by all of it. I'm just going to that next level like I always have, but ultimately it's me and him in that ring on Sunday.
A question for Devin. We've seen George in front of the whole world in a massive fight against Teofimo show his durability against one of the biggest power punchers on earth. Has it been a goal for you to just outbox him, or do you believe you possess the power to hurt him or even stop him?
I mean, at the end of the day, this is boxing, and we're fighting with 8-ounce gloves. One punch can change any fight, so you know, you never know. But I'm prepared for anything. You know, we're able to make adjustments, but I have a game plan that we're gonna stick to, and I feel like it's gonna really work. We've been studying George. We know the mistakes that he makes. We know the things that he does good. We know the things that he doesn't like, and I look to execute it.
Thank you. And just one more question for Jason, if that's okay. Jace, how closely are you going to be watching the Inoue Donaire fight, and do you think this fight puts you in a position to fight the winner of that?
Yeah, I'll be keeping a close eye on that fight. I'm obviously ranked very well with all the sanctioning bodies, and it's my dream to become Australia's next world champion. So whether that's to fight the winner of Inoue Donaire or the new WBO champion Paul Butler, I believe I'm ready for any of them. So first things first, get past Belikte, but then anyone, anywhere, anytime.
That should be a terrific fight, by the way. We have half of our guys are over in Japan now because we're going to be televising that fight on ESPN as well. And so it's, I mean, great when boxing can showcase really significant fights so close to each other. So I think, I don't know, but I assume that the Inoue Donaire fight's going to be televised in Australia, and it's certainly based on the prior fight that they have, well worth watching.
Yeah, good morning. Excuse me, good morning, gentlemen. Jason Fletcher here from Tier Street Controversy Fight View 360. My question's for the Aussie fighters, George, Jason, Lucas and Andrew. You guys at the moment are probably the most 4 successful fellas we've had in Australian boxing over the last 5 or 6 years, comparing what you guys have done. Jason, you've had your championship fight. George, you've won. You've been a former champion. Yourself, you've been a former champion. How do you guys feel fighting, excuse my voice, fighting on one of the biggest cards Australia's ever produced? Because you guys are the reason this is the biggest card in Australia's history. So congratulations for one.
It's great to have so many great fighters on the undercard. Especially guys that have been there at that high level, have been former world champions, have been in world title fights, have accomplished championship glory. So for myself, I feel very honoured and privileged to be able to bring this back to Australia and give the opportunity for these guys again to get that glory. So I wish them all the best, and I know they're all going to be have a successful fight on Sunday.
Yeah, and I would just add, mate, this is such a great thing for Australian boxing. It's very important for us and very important for me to help grow this sport in this country, because I love boxing and I love Australia, and it's so great to be back fighting in front of my hometown after 2.5 years of being on the road, fighting in America. It's great to be back here and having these massive events in this country. It's inspiring to be a part of it, and as I said, I want to keep winning, I want to become world champion, and I want more of these events in Australia. I want to headline my own shows at Marvel Stadium and give the next generation the opportunity, like George has, for us all to shine on the worldwide stage. And yeah, I just can't wait to be a part of it, and hopefully the whole 55,000, 60,000 that we get in Marvel Stadium all walk away having really enjoyed himself and say, geez, I can't wait to see these Aussie fighters step in the ring again, and they get behind us and support us like we deserve to be supported.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.